Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This video is about who will end up with most Grand Slams between Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. And these guys had been dominating the tour the last 15 years. And these are three super amazing tennis players that we have seen in this era. And they have basically pushed away every competition since the last 15 years. And Novak Djokovic, if we start with him, has been the best player since Wimbledon last year. He has won 4 out of 5 Grand Slams. And he showed why he's the best player in the world, because he's not in his super form from 2015 and 2011. He will never be that good again. But he's good enough. And he's complete enough. And he's motivated. He's hungry. He smells the blood. He knows that he can reach both Rafa and Roger. And that's all that matters for him. Because when he's healthy, injury-free, he's as good as this. And that's better than anybody else, because let's face it, none of these three giants are in their prime anymore, but they are still good enough to wipe out every competition on the tour. And the numbers shows that clearly. These guys are big match players. They love to compete. They are best when they need it. They are best and they peak in the big tournaments. And that's why they have been so good, because it's not enough with talent and the hard work. You have to also have a mindset out of this world. You have to be stubborn. You have to take a loss. You have to regroup. You have to fight. Nothing is gonna stand in your way if you want to win and lift the Grand Slam trophies. And these guys are the perfect example of that. And that's why they are the best players in the world. And they will still compete and be the favorites in the Grand Slams at least the next 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. They are still as good as that, if all of them can still play, if they're not injured, of course, and if everything is as they want to be. So we can start with Novak Djokovic. He's now a 16-time Grand Slam winner, Sweet 16 number for him. And with his win at Wimbledon, he showed that why he's the best player in the world right now. He's the most complete player right now. His game is hard to get through. He's super solid from every aspect of the game. And that's why it's hard to beat him. And he has a mental toughness that I have only seen in Rafa. Don't get me wrong, Federer is also mentally tough. But not as Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. That's for sure. And that's why Novak Djokovic have a good chance to reach and surpass both Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. So I think that Novak Djokovic have at least 2 or 3 good years in his body. That's what I think. He can compete at this level. He can keep this high level for 2 or another 3 years. And he will be the favorite in 3 out of 4 Grand Slam. And we all know that French Open, the favorite here will always be Rafa as long as he's playing. So Novak have won Australian Open 7 times. He has won 1 set French Open. He has now 5 victories at Wimbledon. And he has, how much is it? Let me think. 7, 8, 13, and 3 victories at the US Open. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, so his biggest chances is he's actually has chance in every Grand Slam like the other guys, but he will be the main favorite in 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams, and that's why I think he will win at least 5 to 6 more Grand Slams and end up around 21 or 22 Grand Slams when he has finished his career. So the hard course of Australian shows that the number shows that that's Novak's best Grand Slam tournament, and he won that tournament this year where he basically schooled Rafael Nadal, and I haven't seen him winning an easy Grand Slam final like that, to be honest. He didn't do many unforced errors in that final. I think he did five unforced errors totally. That was a hell of a performance, not like the 2012 match where it was one of the. It is the toughest match that we have ever seen, and one of the best matches we have seen overall. So that puts Novak in a. I don't want to use the word pole position because he's 4 Grand Slams behind Federer, but it's much likely that he will be the man with most Grand Slams because he's younger than them. None of them are super young anymore. Federer is soon to be 38, Rafa is at 33 now, and Novak I think is 32 or 41, 32 I think. So anyway, if he can stay injury free, 5 to 6 more Grand Slams, that's for sure. And he knows that he can reach these guys. He has blood in his mouth. He knows that he has a super chance to surpass both of them. But it's not as easy as it seems. He still has to perform. He still has to keep his eyes open, because you never know, they can come different competition from other players. You never know about that, but these 3 giants will probably be dominating at least 2 more years, I think. So Novak will end up with 21 or 22 Grand Slams in my opinion, and that's extremely good. None have expected it because he was out for an elbow injury in the late 2016, and I think he did his surgery after his Australian Open loss in 2017 and bounced back, and many have counted him out. But I knew that a master is still a master. If he can come back from and be injury free, he will compete again for Grand Slams, and I was right in my prediction about that. And I also had him as the winner at Wimbledon, and Roger Federer as his final opponent in my Wimbledon preview draw. But sometimes you can be lucky and guess right, and I did that. But Novak, in this shape, he has sent out signals to both Rafa and Roger. I'm coming for your records, so please don't count me out. That's Novak. And now Rafael Nadal, who is currently at 18 Grand Slams, 12 at French Open, 1 at Australian Open, 2 at Wimbledon, and 3 at US Open. He will surely, if he's injury free, be the favorite at Roland Garros as long as he's playing. Because we all saw this year against him that Rafa is another beast when he plays at Roland Garros. Yes, he did not a good clay court season as we are used to see him. He finally won that his first title at Rome, and then he defended his French Open crown and he have won 12 times there, and I still think he can win at least 2 more. And that will add his number to 20. But the question is, in which of the other Grand Slams can he win? Can he still win at Wimbledon? He has won that since 2010 and hasn't won at the Australian Open since 2009. He has only won that title 1 time. Lost a couple of finals. He has lost to Wawrinka, Federer, and Novak, of course. And the US Open are his best chances of lifting another Grand Slam trophy outside French Open, in my opinion. Because his last victory there was at 2017, where he basically had a cakewalk to the trophy, in my opinion. He didn't have a decent top 20 player until he reached the final, but it's not his fault. He did his job. He took his chances. He won that fair and square. And he added another Grand Slam to his trophy cabinet. Because Rafa has shown supreme level since he entered the ATP Tour. And he's the best player, points in and points out, without a doubt. He's most consistent match player that they ever seen. You have to have the day of your life to beat him or beat Novak Djokovic or Roger Federer to win against Rafael Nadal. Because he's a monster when he's out of the court. So I think Rafa can win to 3 or 4 another Grand Slams. And that will also end his number at round 21-22. But this is just assumptions. And it's fun doing these videos because we all know that right now Roger have won most Grand Slams. But these guys are closing in on him. So will he keep the distance, Roger? It depends on him also, because he has now 20 Grand Slam. And as we saw at Wimbledon, his loss there against Novak Djokovic, that he still can compete. And he has done a superb performance through the tournament. And if you see at his final loss against Novak Djokovic, you can see it in 2 ways. One is the easy way, I think. You can say, yeah, he played good, but he choked. He had 2 match points. It was the 3rd time he lost against Novak Djokovic when he had match points. Twice at US Open, and now this final where he had 2 match points in his own serve. He came from both 1 and 2 sets down, and he couldn't seal the deal, and he's not mentally tough, etc., etc. Or you can say as I did, Roger made a superior performance even in the final. He came back from 1 set down and 1-2 set down, and I think, if I can remember correctly, that Novak had a break up also in the 5th set. And Roger came back and leveled the match and then broke Novak's serve again, and he had these 2 match points that will taunt him and maybe affect his legacy, because he could have expanded his lead against both Rafa and Roger. He would have 21 and Rafa 18 and Novak 15. So the gap between Federer and Novak would have been 6 Grand Slams. And now it's, like we know, 4. And that's a big difference. And this loss gives many of his fans headache. It was a terrible loss. You shouldn't lose a match like that. You have match points in your serve. Serve is the only thing that you can control. But Federer didn't do that, unfortunately. And the important thing, can he bounce back after this loss? Yes, I think, because he wouldn't be here in his position if he didn't know how to bounce back. But can he win another Grand Slam? That's the question. Because some say you shouldn't be shouldn't be competing on this level. He's 38 years old soon in this tough sport. 99% of the players out there barely break into the top 100. It's so difficult. It's one of the toughest sports. It has so much competition, and that's why make these guys so remarkable, that they can still be here for all of these years. But Federer is ageless. He has a fluid game style. He hasn't have not that many injuries in his career that I can remember, and his game is fluid. He has best shot selection of everybody. He knows what it takes to win a Grand Slam, and all of these guys are here competing and making life hard for the other Grand Slam contenders. And we all know that Rafa, Roger, and Novak, this trio, world will never see a trio like this again, because they are exceptional. So if you look at Federer's chances of winning another Grand Slam, where can he win more Grand Slams? Of course, he has always a chance as long as he plays, but I won't rule out French Open, because everybody knows he won't win that tournament again. If he plays next year and if he wants to win, that will the scenario will be if Rafa Nadal is hurt or injured, or Novak can't come up in his normal level, or Dominic Thiem or some of the other clay court specialists. But you can never rule out a champion like Federer. But I think that he has won his last French Open. His best chances are at the fast courts of Australian Open, a tournament that he has won 6 times. And of course at Wimbledon, he has won 7 victories there. And those are his best chances, because he hasn't won US Open since 2008. He was in the final 2009 where he lost to Del Potro, and I think he was at final at 2015 also, if I can remember correctly. No, he wasn't. Or was no, he was. And he lost that final against Novak Djokovic. And he hasn't won the tournament since 2008. So that's difficult for him to win again. But you never know. Everything depends on the draw sometimes. If you get lucky, if your worst opponents gets upset in earlier runs and things like that, anything can happen. But Roger's best chances are clearly at Australian Open and at Wimbledon. And can he keep this level through next year? He has a good chance of at least reaching a semi-final or finals in Grand Slam. That's for sure. The question is, how long will Roger still play? I think he will play throughout next year also. He's aiming on the Olympic gold also that he's missing together with Novak Djokovic. And that's his last chance to win Olympic gold. The same goes for Novak Djokovic, I think. And they will still be here at least 2 more years, in my opinion. And since both Novak and Rafael are closing in on him, maybe he's gonna extend his career. You never know. He can do that. He's not injured. He still have motivation. He still likes to play tennis. He still likes to compete in these big matches. And Roger has a good chance of maybe win 1 more Grand Slam. But personally, I think that he has won his last Grand Slam. But I hope he proves me wrong. And these 3 giants have put the bar so high, and everybody's wondering when is these next gen players or some of the other players that have been around the tour for like 10 years when are they gonna beat these guys on regular basis at Grand Slam events? Will that ever happen? Or are they gonna retire on their own terms? Roger, Rafa, and Novak? We never know. But like it seems now, nothing is gonna come in their way because these guys are too good right now for everybody else. We have some good players in the top 10, of course. We have some new exciting names. We have Dominic Thiem. We have Tsitsipas. We have the Russian guys, Medvedev and Kachanov. We have Aliassime. We have Zverev. Can they show these three giants that they can compete on them seriously at Grand Slam level? Yes, Roger and Rafa and Novak are not robots. They are humans. They can be beaten. But nowadays you have to beat at least two of them to win Grand Slams. So it's not looking good for the next generation, I think. If you look at the Grand Slams, of course they can upset in the Masters or other tournaments, but Grand Slam is always crucial because you have to win 7 matches there in 2 weeks. You have to peak at the right moment. You can't peak before and then go play 1 or 2 matches and then lose. You have to peak at the right moment. You have to win even when you're not playing good. That's what Roger, Rafa, and Novak does. They win even they don't play at their normal level. That's what separates them from the others. And it's going to be exciting now. The hardcourt season has started. So that was all for today, folks. Please leave a comment and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to add some more in my discussion here, please do that. And have a nice day. Bye bye.